Good morning. It's Friday, September 30th. And I wanted to take a walk around and record how the garden looks at the beginning of fall. We did a lot of cleanup yesterday, so I'm okay with showing it to you today. These dahlias lovely. These were some volunteer tomato plants I transplanted over here. This is the southern side of our house, so it'll stay warmer longer. So hopefully we'll get a few more cherry tomatoes off there before frost come in another month or so. The greenhouse is packed with peppers and tomatoes. I've thrown a few things in there to keep them out of the rain that's coming from the leftovers of Hurricane Ian. Let's see if I can find you a tomato. There's just so many in here. I keep trimming them back so I can at least walk in here. Let's see. There's a baby tomato. And I have lots of peppers. We ripped out the flower area last week. That's going to get covered over in dirt soon and leveled off. Got some salad bowl greens over here, a little bit of spinach there, and I put a bunch of seeds in here yesterday since we're expecting rain for the next 4 days from the leftovers of Hurricane Ian. Transplanted some of the ever-bearing strawberries, and I have some American spinach here. That concrete pad was put in yesterday, and it'll get brick on top, and that's where I'm eventually going to have the 2 garden stalks full of ever-bearing strawberries. Some extra broccoli that I plugged in there, and leftover sweet potatoes. Well, sweet potatoes I haven't pulled yet. These are the white ones. I'm hoping to let them get a little bigger because I didn't plant them until the end of June. I need to rip everything out of this trellis. There's still a few more tomatoes coming on, so I've been harvesting those. That's a bat tomato plant needs to come out. This bed's been cleaned. And we did get a bunch of beds filled back up from where they had sunk so much. Lavender, bok choy, volunteer dill. We thinned out the parsley and the other herbs here. Hopefully they'll recover and keep growing all winter. There's a happy calendula coming back to life. Kale, need to harvest that before the rain today. And these are the brassicas that I originally planted in between the tomato plants. So there's a few of them in this bed. Brussels sprouts, broccoli. But what's also in this whole long bed is over 200 bulbs of garlic, hardneck and softneck. And this bed has volunteer potatoes in it and a few beans left. We haven't filled it up yet. The strawberry beds were thinned out and replanted. You can see that in, I believe, chapter 14 if you want to watch that happen of the audiobook I'm reading titled Prayer. A few more tomatoes here. They should ripen before frost. And this bed just has a bunch more beets and other brassicas that I tucked in between tomato plants. They have grown quite happy. A few extra kale. Coffee bag, peat moss bag. Need to move those before the rain. I'm hoping that stevia goes to seed. I would really like to collect seeds because you could not find them in the store this year, or you couldn't find seeds anywhere. I was lucky to find plants at one greenhouse. So this end has the June bearing strawberries, and it's also June bearing strawberries in those beds. And these are the ever bearing strawberries, one of the planters I'm going to stack once that brick pad is done. And here's more brassicas and lettuces and carrots at the end. This bed needs refilling. The purple sweet potatoes didn't grow very large at all. They were barely thicker than pencils, but again, I didn't plant these until the end of June, which is a month late, so that's why I'm trying to give the white potatoes a little more time. I've got spinach planted in here, and that's starting to come up. This will be the winter spinach. I forget, winter large, something like that. Lettuce and carrots. And the peas are not as vigorous apparently when you plant them at the end of summer. They don't like the heat, but there are some coming up. The pinto beans are just about finished. We're still picking some as they dry. And then here's the broccoli we planted underneath it earlier. This bed's empty other than some carrots I left in. And I planted seeds in here yesterday. I have to look at my notes. I think it was lettuce and beets and something else. That's a volunteer beet, volunteer carrot, volunteer lettuce. And here's the rest of the brassicas I planted, I think in July, August. I started them in July probably, transplanted them in August. Cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, a few leeks. And this is the one bed of potatoes that has come up. Remember, I planted potatoes in this whole bed, and I planted potatoes in that whole bed, and not a single one came up. This is the only bed where they came up. And they popped up after I prayed and asked Jesus to please give me potatoes, and whatever grew, I would give away half of them. So I just want at least some potatoes to have for seed for next spring in case we can't buy any. So hopefully they'll get a good bit growing before frost in another month or so. Some volunteer nasturtiums have come up next to these cauliflower. And this is where I had 3 of my planters with the strawberries in them. And I cleaned them up yesterday, sitting up here on this wall now. And replanted just 6 plants per planter. And these are more the volunteers that I still need to pull out. The other 6 planters that you saw a minute ago down the hill there, I filled all those up. So those were 42 strawberry plants. I filled all those up just with volunteers from here. And this is still what's left over. Oh, and the volunteers from here also went in the wall over there. So originally there were 18 or fewer strawberry plants in here. And they have managed to make easily 100 babies in one season. A few more brassicas, a few more pinto beans to pull. And that is it for now. I harvested the sweet potatoes that were in this section with the kids. This is the sunniest it's going to get today. The rain's coming in a few hours. It's already windy, but the ground needs the rain so bad. It has been more than a month since we've had a really good soaking rain, and everything is just dry, dry, dry. I've had to water stuff very regularly. This is a ginger plant that I started, I think, just before the last frost. There's lots of ginger in there, and even the leaves smell like ginger when you rub against them. There we go. So I'm gonna wait and let that keep growing right until frost. And these are the rest of the ever-bearing strawberries that we're still getting strawberries from each day. Then I'll have to replant all the pots and add some more peat moss and coffee grounds and get them stacked once that brick pad is completed. Wood stack for winter. Hoping to not start burning until the end of October, but we'll see, because fires are so cozy and warm. Been lots of hard work this week. I'm looking forward to a Sabbath rest. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.